Hey guys, I wanted to show you guys one of my other little tricks I use that's probably one of my most frustrating things behind gluing up tires is building new turnbuckles. I used to struggle building them and it used to really make me mad, and I'd build new turnbuckles and want to adjust camber and ball cups would pop off, and now you're trying to fight with a turnbuckle wrench and maybe a pair of pliers and hold one and so you can adjust it, and having to do that back and forth, and it's very frustrating just trying to, you just want to go from -1 to -2 degrees of camber. It takes you 20 minutes to do it. So I don't remember who I saw do something like this, but I saw a video a while back where a guy was kind of doing something similar to this on when he was building his turnbuckles. So I want to show you guys what I do now when I build new kits or build new turnbuckles. So first thing I got here, of course, I've got a new turnbuckle, a couple new of the heavy duty rod ends from TLR, and then I've got TLR's their Ballcup wrench that they sell. It fits the ball cups. I've got their turnbuckle wrench. I've got a 3/16 drill bit that I drill through the ball cup in so that I can get a 2mm wrench through it. I use a little bit of their black grease. I've been using JT Bearings Verde grease, but I'm out of it right now. And then I use I got a 12-volt DeWalt drill that's got a regular chuck, keyless chuck on it. I use it at home, but if you got a 1/4-inch hex driver that uses 1/4-inch hex bits, you can use it as well. You can purchase a keyless chuck on a hex driver. That way, if you've got something like this that you use at the racetrack, taking off your wheels. This is the one I carry at the racetrack, so I've got to purchase one of those keyless chucks, but you can get it at Harbor Freight, or I'm sure you can get one off of eBay. So anyway, I'll go over how I do it. First thing I started out doing all the time is, so I don't forget, is I go ahead and take a little bit of grease, and what I do is I just put a little bit down in the ball cup. Just put a little bit down in there. So on the TLR turnbuckles, it's going to probably be hard to see it, but the end with the line around it is the right-hand threads. You want to remember that. So what I do is I chuck it up, and you don't need it to be tight. I always chuck up on the square part of it, so you don't have to tighten it very tight. And I always start with the right-handed thread one, just so that I don't forget. So I go ahead and start. So I just use this. So I'm fairly slow with it. Make sure you're trying to go straight on, and I just work it pretty slow. You don't want to get it too hot right off the bat. I've heard some guys, about melting the plastic down. So I'll run it in and out several times after I kind of do it slow a few times at first. And then after I do it a couple times slow, I actually start trying to build a little bit of heat, so I get kind of want it to stretch just a little bit, so this thing is easier to adjust once I build both ends. So just make sure you don't bottom it out going in, because if you do, you'll actually bulge down here on the inside portion of your ball cup, and you'll have to start over with a new rod in. So my test is, once I feel like I got it, it actually started getting a little warm right here. My test to know if I kind of got it where I think it'll work is I grab it, and if I can turn it by hand, fairly easily. So it's still a little tight. I'm going to run it in a couple more times. So when you get it done, you want to go ahead and take that one all the way off. And go ahead and clean this old grease off right here, because I'm going to have to swap ends on it. So that is your right hand thread in, so you need to remember that. So now you'll take it out, you'll swap ends, to snug it up just a little bit. Now, when you start on this one, you will have to start with it going in reverse, left hand. So you'll do the same thing. You'll repeat the process, make sure it's good and straight. Kind of go real slow this first time, and it's going to put a little bit of grease out that you had in there. Same thing, I'll run it about halfway in, and I will check it by hand, make sure I can spin it. This one here feels pretty good. So what I'll do is I actually have one here off my car that I was going to stick this one on. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go ahead and run my new one that's on my drill about even where this one is on my old car. To kind of, that way I know I'm fairly close, so I don't have to do a bunch of adjustments. So I'll go ahead and run this one a little ways farther in. And at that point, you can take that one off. You're done with the drill. Clean off the grease. Go ahead and get your other ones that you had off a while ago. So now we're going our right hand thread. Hold it in your hand, get it on there, and then at this point you'll have to use your turnbuckle wrench and your Ballcup wrench. And go ahead and run it in. Get it pretty close to where you want it. The remote. So here on my car, I've got the line, the right hand thread mark is always on the left side of my car. So I'll go ahead and pop it on out here at the wheel. Make sure the dog bone's in. Pop it on in here, and then, you know, if this thing works right, stick our turnbuckle wrench on there, and now it turns like butter. I make as many adjustments as I want now, back and forth. This is what I make sure it's all good and free. This one here is ready to go. The only thing that I normally do is I'll pop this one back off. I will just go ahead and put my other one back on there that I had. I also, what I've done is so that I can make adjustments on my ball stud washers without having to pop it and roll the ball cup off, make the ball cup get all damaged with my needle nose pliers. So it's that 3/16 drill bit. I take it, and I go ahead and just put it right here in the end, let it kind of self-center in the ball cup, and I just go ahead and drill my 3/16 hole through it. And now you can run your 2mm wrench. You can go ahead and, if you wanted to be able to make an adjustment, as you can see mine are already done here, you can actually get your 2mm wrench in there on the ball cup, on the ball stud itself, and you can make adjustments. That way you don't have to pop. That way you don't have to roll these off to make your spacers. So like I said, I use a 3/16 drill bit. If you've got an actual maybe 2.2mm drill bit, you can use it as well. I just happen to have a 3/16, which is big enough to get my 2mm drill bit in. So I'll go ahead and drill both ends. And this one here would be ready for the car. If you've got any questions, any of the tools I used, any other topics you may guys would like for me to do, I'll continue making videos of any of the little tricks that I have, any things I've seen, things I've seen other drivers do, guys at our track. But this is something I've seen some of the guys in our area, in the Tyler, Texas area, were talking about the other night. I think Chuck Goodson kind of told him about how I did this, so that made me want to do this video. So thanks, Chuck, for reminding me about this and giving me the idea to do the video. Thanks, guys.